today on Dr. Phil.
This is the first real interview back as the Jonas Brothers.
The hottest band in the world opens up.
Did you guys feel betrayed?
Oh, yeah. My initial reaction was shock. I don't know if it was a panic attack, but I couldn't breathe. I was definitely the last one to say, let's do it. I can't be broken again after rebuilding everything.
And what they've kept inside.
I'm sitting with Dr. Phil and I'm going to talk about it because I need the help. We're telling it everything.
For all these years.
A lot of people don't know this. The Jonas Brothers never had
the Jonas Brothers interview. But first, she earned a college scholarship. However,
I am the best dancer in the world.
She wants to be a hip-hop dancer. Will Lady Gaga's choreographer think she has what it takes?
You said she fought back instead of took the coaching.
My feet hurt. This doesn't work. My hair.
I think that he would love to work with me again.
With an ego and an attitude like that, no one wants to work.
Today's going to be a changing day in your life. You've never had anybody working harder to bring you to the threshold of change than right now. Before every show starts, we like to have a good time with our audience by getting to know them with games and sometimes dancing. And it's fun for me to be backstage where I can check in on what's going on. That's Sarah Joy. She is so confident she's going to become a dance legend that she's going to quit college to pursue her dream. But her dad is not happy with her plan. What Sarah Joy doesn't know is real legend, Lady Gaga's choreographer and visual director, Richie Jackson, is seated in our audience right now watching her dance. Will he think she's got what it takes? She certainly thinks she does. Listen to this while I head to stage and start the show.
The local college student just would not take no for an answer.
My future really was hanging on the slim chance that I won a big scholarship.
A federal Pell Grant paid for Wake Tech, but without the means to go beyond a 2-year degree, she needed a scholarship, and a big one. So she started applying with essays.
I never give up.
And she didn't.
I won the biggest scholarship in the nation. I was just crying. I couldn't believe it. As the scholarship actually provides full funding, full tuition to any university.
And the motto to this story?
A winner is only a loser who tried one more time.
What an accomplishment. I mean, Sarah Joy says now her dad is pressuring her to follow his next dream, Harvard Law School. But that's not what she wants to do.
I am the best dancer in the world. The world just doesn't know it yet.
Sarah always planned on going to Harvard to receive a law degree. Then suddenly she got this idea that she wanted to become a hip-hop dancer and possibly leave school.
I'm majoring in psychology, but you know what? A psychology lecture has never helped me improve my fouette turns. It has never improved my leaps. It has never made my hip-hop dancing more hipper.
Sarah has a $500,000 scholarship. It covers tuition, food, housing for undergrad and grad school.
I won every award, every honor, national titles, took the SAT in the 7th grade, honor roll all throughout high school, full ride scholarship to college. And I was just like, wait, I don't have to do this. I can do whatever I want. And I want to be a dancer.
I thought she was joking. She hasn't had any professional training, so she's just mediocre.
100% self-made, self-taught, natural talent. I am every single type of dance. I even do tap. And Irish, African, Arabian, hip-hop, ballet, and then my own little freestyle, you know what I'm saying? I do it all. When you're at the level that I'm at, of greatness, of prodigyness, of goddessness, the success and the money will come. It's inevitable.
It's a ridiculous idea that's going to ruin her life.
Okay, it's good to meet y'all.
Nice to meet you.
How do you know that you're a great dancer?
It oozes out of me.
I'm watching you here, and
I'm much better than that, though.
Well,
That's just a little bit. That just scrapes the surface of my greatness.
Well, I couldn't do that on my best day, so I'm not going to.
I could do that in heels with my eyes closed.
I'm not going to critique it because I don't know what I'm talking about. But you have a passion for it, is your point. I mean, you feel it inside. You love this.
Absolutely, just passion like a river. It just flows out of me.
You're in professional training?
My own professional training. I'm a professional, and I professionally teach myself. So I just train in my dorm room. It's just a little space, 2 feet wide, 2 feet this way, 2 feet that way, and I'm always working and perfecting my craft and stretching and doing it all myself because I don't have any teachers, I don't have any choreographers, but that's okay because like I'm like a one-woman show, like I can do it all. So everything I do, I'm self-taught and I'm just awesome.
But don't you think you need training?
I have training.
Because I've always thought I was psychologically minded, but I felt like I would go get 15 years of training to kind of go with that. Yeah,
I do. I would like training to just, you know, hone what I have, like the natural talent there.
And you think this is the higher form of insanity?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I mean, she has a full ride scholarship in college, and she wants to become some hip-hop dancer.
Okay, and you say some hip-hop dancer like you smelled something really bad in the room when you said that.
Well, I mean, a hip-hop dancer, what kind of career is that? You know, I taught them to go to college and study, and that's what she did, and now she's making a complete left turn and going a different direction.
Okay, so you think that she's just not using her skills and abilities that she has work to hone?
Yes.
Right. You're obviously really smart, right? Mm-hmm. And so you...
But as great as my intelligence is, my dance talent is even greater.
This does a comparison. These are your dance accomplishments. Okay, now here are your academic accomplishments. 7th grade, Duke University medal for SAT and ACT. High school, 4.0 GPA, honors. 2018 scholarship, full ride to any college. You applied 73 times, would not take no for an answer. 2018, $5,000 scholarship from a law firm. Fall 2018, GPA 3.75. Spring 2019, college GPA 3.75. I mean, when you compare them side by side, it looks like you're a lot more accomplished this way. What's wrong with using these skills and abilities to underwrite your passion in dancing?
I would beg to differ. Actually, the dance accomplishments list is 100 times longer. Like, it rolls all the way out, like longer than Santa's list.
Listen, I got somebody back there with a typewriter. Let's fill them in.
Because I can see my future. You can't see my future. I can see my future. I can see what I'm going to accomplish. That's only my past. Look at how short the list of my past is. The list of my future rolls out that door.
And listen, I'm not saying that you can't and won't be a great dancer. How are you going to afford that?
I mean, I didn't think through that, but I'm sure like something will come to me.
You realize that you may have to have a job to support.
Dancing is my job.
You have to have a plan to feed yourself during the transition.
The only thing I'm worrying about feeding is my passion.
Your passion don't eat much, but you have to have a place to live. You've got to have food. You've got to have a way to sustain yourself.
I will. Dancing will sustain me. It will do more than sustain me.
Do you have an agent?
It will make me thrive. No.
Do you have a manager?
Me.
Do you know how much dancers get?
No. But that doesn't matter. It's about the art.
Next, Russell says Sarah Joy is rubbing off on her younger sister. We're going to find out how when we meet her next.
I want to express myself through fashion, through makeup, and being in college just wasn't the way for me.
Sarah has influenced my daughter Leah into quitting school. Almost fainted.
Tomorrow, it was supposed to be the perfect wedding.
You're making plans and you're getting excited together.
Until the groom pulled a no-show.
I was in complete denial.
Now.
You don't go back to someone that disrespects you like that.
This is a special kind of betrayal.
The jilted bride reveals a startling confession.
What is it you want to say to your mother and your friends?
I wanted to let you guys know that.
That's tomorrow. Then on Thursday, he claims his wife sold 8 of their children without him knowing.
You get her pregnant again and again. She's putting babies on the market, and you didn't figure that out.
That's Thursday.
Even if I don't go to college, I'm still going to be successful. I have no fear. Fear is afraid of me. Sometimes you got to let go of the safe to catch greatness.
Well, Russell says that his brilliant daughter, Sarah Joy, is destroying her life by walking away from a full-ride college scholarship with the potential of getting into Harvard Law School to chase what he says is a silly dream of becoming a professional dancer. Now, those are his words, not mine. And now he says that he's worried about his youngest daughter, Leah, because Sarah Joy seems to be rubbing off on her, so she's now following in her footsteps. Take a look.
My daughter Sarah has influenced my daughter Leah into quitting school.
I want to express myself through fashion, through makeup, and being in college just wasn't the way for me.
Leah told me she wanted to model, and I just couldn't believe it. I almost fainted.
My sister Leah, she is following her dream, much to my father's dismay. And he definitely blamed me. I'm like the ultimate rebellious child. Like, I'm the source of all evil.
Well, Sarah and Leah just think that if they get on social media, that they're going to become famous. They're not thinking in reality.
My dad's mad that I'm rubbing off on Leah. She's blessed that I rubbed off on her. I'm like Rumpelstiltskin. Everything I touch turns to gold.
My daughter Leah, she doesn't have an agent or a job modeling right now. I think she is just crazy.
My dad is going to be shocked when he sees how successful me and Leah are going to be. He's going to like have a heart attack. He's going to be there like gasping for air. Success is just going to rain down on us.
Okay, Leah, thank you for being here. So your plan is to do what now?
So I really want to model and express myself through fashion.
Okay, and you're just in shock over here, right?
Yes, I just can't believe it. I just want to take him right back to college and tell him to get back to work.
Uh-huh. And would you want your daughters to go to college, finish their degrees, and pursue careers that didn't make them happy?
I just want them to finish school and have something to fall back on.
You want them to get their education, but not necessarily pursue careers that they don't want. You just want them to have a fail-safe plan. You want them to have a credential. You want them to have something to fall back on if pursuing their dream doesn't pan out for them.
Yes, yeah.
You two are beautiful girls, obviously, and you've got personalities, you're articulate, you know what you want, and I know people in both of those areas that are highly successful. So there's no doubt in my mind that you can make a really great living doing this if you go about it the right way. What I'm saying is there's a difference between a dream and a goal, and the difference between a dream and a goal is a timeline, a plan, and accountability. Well, have you ever heard of Lady Gaga?
Yeah.
Okay, well, if you've gone gaga for her elaborate and unconventional music videos, her tours, and her 2017 Super Bowl halftime show, Richie Jackson is the man behind her dance moves. He's been the superstar's lead choreographer and visual director for almost a decade. And he's here to put Sarah Joy through her first audition, okay? Now, Richie is here, and he's waiting for Sarah Joy backstage to teach her some moves, the kind of moves that he does for Lady Gaga and her dancers, and then he'll bring her back right here on this stage for her first audition. But don't go anywhere, because I caught up with some brothers with real talent, the Jonas Brothers. I sat down with them for an honest conversation about their breakup, an emotional reunion during my recent Fill in the Blanks podcast. Coming up. This is the first real interview back as the Jonas Brothers. How does it feel?
Right now, it's in its most raw state. I don't know if you want to talk about this, but I'm sitting with Dr. Phil, and I'm going to talk about it.
Why did you stop Jonas Brothers? Did you guys feel betrayed?
My initial reaction was shock.
Well, they are back together. You just saw brothers Nick, Kevin, and Joe, who make up the popular band, the Jonas Brothers, singing their current single, Sucker. Now, I recently sat down with all three during my podcast, Fill in the Blanks, to hear what they had to say about what really happened when their band split up over 5 years ago. Take a look. This is the first real interview back as the Jonas Brothers. How does it feel to be sitting here together?
It feels really good, but there's also moments where like you say something and you kind of look a little to your left, you're like, are we on the same page?
It's a little bit of eggshells. I mean, it's just being real.
Yeah, there is.
Like, I feel like navigating the story of it all is something that we'll start to finesse as time goes on, because right now it's in its most raw state.
I think that's kind of the beauty of it. For us now, it feels so good to be able to just kind of be like, I don't know if you want to talk about this, but I'm sitting with Dr. Phil and I'm going to talk about it because I need the help or whatever. This time around, we're telling it everything. So there's really nothing that we're hiding from anyone. Yeah. We have a documentary that is full of tears and anger and talk about the past.
Kevin, you're the oldest.
Yes, sir.
And you're next, Joe. And Nick, you're the youngest.
Yeah.
Do they pick on you?
No, they pick on me.
They pick on you?
Yeah.
They gang up on the oldest?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
It's always been that way.
Why?
You know what it was? I let it affect me. So I actually wouldn't just play along. It actually got in my head, and I think then they realized oh, this is working, so they kept going.
So how do you guys get along now?
I mean, I think it's been probably the most important year of our lives as far as our relationship goes, and we stepped into this potential relaunch of the brothers with a lot of hesitations on all fronts, and one of the things that was most challenging to navigate was the fact that I called an end to the group, which was painful for all of us. So what we realized in all of it is that we had to start further back and heal some of the wounds. The biggest thing was, let's get into our childhood.
When you guys started, your dad was the pastor of a church. Your music wasn't gospel music. It wasn't Christian music, right? And that didn't sit well with the congregation.
There's an expectation a lot of times when you are so ingrained in a church environment. If you're going to be making music, if you're going to be preaching, you preach to the choir. We were young men growing up, kind of excited about girls and love and romance, and we didn't want to be limited to just Christian music.
There was a point where there was a break with the church where it kind of came down to you either, as the pastor, are all in with the church, or you're going to do this secular music.
Right.
And he lost his job.
Yeah.
He lost his church. He lost his congregation. He lost the parsonage. He lost everything.
There was a moment where things kind of all happened bad for us as a family at the same time. The record label that we were a part of, Columbia Records, dropped us as a band. Our dad lost his job, and this all happened probably in the same 3-4 months.
Here you are. You guys are working on this music, and your father and mother are supporting you unconditionally. Now you're just these kids standing there, and he bet on this, and it all evaporated.
I think about how many things should have prevented the Jonas Brothers from being successful. And I think we defied the odds when it did work, because it really should not have. I think it was the fact that our parents did an excellent job of keeping the weight of all of this away from us.
Why did you stop Jonas Brothers? Why did you call that meeting?
I think it was a frustration with the lack of evolution within the group. I think creatively we were sort of stalled, probably because our emotional relationship was stalled.
It was not, my heart's not in it, and I want to be real with you, as band members and brothers, this is where I'm at. It was, the band is over. I want to go do stuff without you guys, and I've made up my mind.
I fully did not expect it to be as emotional reaction as it was, which then made me question if I'd made the right choice.
Are you saying you shouldn't have done it, or you should have done it a different way?
Should have done it a different way.
I just remember looking at Joe and being like, wait, what? And I'm looking at my brother just being destroyed inside.
It needed to happen. That's the funny part. It definitely needed to. And I recently thanked Nick. I wish it happened differently, but it was time.
It's like you get one taste of solo success. It's like, can you forget all the work we put in together?
Did you guys feel betrayed?
Oh, yeah. My initial reaction was shock. You kind of block out that day.
What hurt the most is that it came from Nick. Because he is my best friend. And I thought that me, Kevin, and Nick were going to do this forever, and it was us against the world, you know?
I kind of cringe when I think about it, but you second guessing afterwards, like you just said, like, did I just make the right decision? And then you were kind of stopping, and at that point I was like, no, you said it. Like,
yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Don't try to backtrack, because you said it now, so like there's no going back. And then we kind of were trying to have this conversation.
Then we won't do this. Then we won't break up.
Once I was separated from the situation, it was the right thing. That built our relationship better. We became friends, and it wasn't just colleagues. And that wouldn't have happened, obviously, if he didn't break up the band. And the band wouldn't be back together also if Nick didn't come back to the door and knock on it and say, guys, what do you think if we get back on the horses and do this again?
Are you gun shy going in? Because this has happened once.
Yeah. I think we're all in. There's different rules in place, in the sense that Joe's still going to make music with DNC and have the freedom to do whatever he wants, and I'll have the freedom to do what I want. And the Jonas Brothers is a part of who we are, but it's not everything.
You'll hear some surprising things the Jonas Brothers have to say about reuniting as a band next. You're going into this absolutely knowing there are going to be critics.
We were torn up about comments and critics, and it would eventually start to affect our creativity. How do we handle those type of things when they come our way together?
Well, I recently sat down with popular band the Jonas Brothers for my hit podcast, Fill in the Blanks. Now, they candidly explained why the group broke up and why they decided to give their fans what they wanted by reuniting. Joe, you were asking for advice.
As I think about the Jonas Brothers days and things that really affected us, we were torn up about comments and critics, and it would eventually start to affect our creativity. And now that we've made this album that we're really proud of, my question for you would be, how do we prepare ourselves or handle those type of things when they come our way together?
That's a great question, and I have to give you a little bit of a long answer. You're going into this absolutely knowing that there are going to be critics. Somebody's going to have a problem no matter what you do. You might as well do what you want to do. So you guys have to decide who you are individually and who you are collectively.
I think that was part of the struggle before. We clashed on who was doing what and perspectives and who had the strengths and when to utilize those strengths. And I think a lot of our issue for me, which was not being able to really just talk about the simplest thing.
Yeah.
And hey, I have a problem with that. I'd rather do it this way, if you guys are cool with that, or I think I should take a lead on this. Just having a real conversation instead of feeling like, well, you're not better than me.
You can't be all equally talented in everything.
No.
One of you's going to be better at one thing, one's going to be better at another, one's going to be better at another. You just have to find what you're best at and do that.
I think we missed that. Individually, we going out, performing, things like that, and I miss looking to the left and right. Like, I can't wait to share some vocals on stage. It's tiring every night, I'm excited to go and play these old songs, and you have partners in crime where you can kind of just lean on each other, and we just fall back into the mold.
Can you guys embrace the problems that you had before? And by that I mean, you said you didn't communicate really well before. Will you do it differently this time?
I think this time around, we've set in place some ground rules to ensure that it'll be a healthy experience. So I think taking some of that pressure off to have it all figured out just because we decided to do this again is not smart, and it's not realistic.
Talk to me about the music this time. You've got an album. How do you feel about it?
It's definitely our best music ever. This time around, Joe and I have had 5 or 6 years of working with some of the top writers in LA and New York. So we brought all that into this, and we created really unique voices. I think we trusted in our partners and each other, and we built something I think we're really proud of, and that is so unique to who we are, which was really refreshing to see that, sometimes it's just right, and this one was.
Well, I really want to thank Nick, Kevin, and Joe from the Jonas Brothers for their very candid interview on my podcast series, Fill in the Blanks, that drops today. Now, you can watch the documentary that follows the band as they reunite for their upcoming tour on Amazon Prime Video, and their brand new album is out now as well. All right, we're going to switch gears and meet a recent college graduate who says she just can't find a job that relates to her passions, and we'll hear what one of the members of my advisory board has to say to her next. Well, I'd now like to introduce my good and respected friend, Dr. Art Markman, who has been on the show several times in the past. Dr. Markman has published over 150 scientific papers, developed training programs for billion-dollar companies, is a professor of psychology and marketing at the University of Texas. And thankfully, he is also a member of the Dr. Phil Advisory Board here. His latest book is Bringing Your Brain to Work, which talks about the 3 phases of the job life cycle, how to communicate with the people around you, and how a lot of people suffer from something called imposter syndrome. So welcome, Dr. Markman. So glad you're here.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
This, very well done, by the way, and really very interesting. What are the 3 important mental systems that are crucial for success at work? Let's just start there.
So if you think about it, you have to be motivated to the work you're doing. And so your motivational brain kicks in. You have a social brain that's part of this as well, which is how you get along with the people that you're dealing with in the workplace. And then you have what we can call the cognitive brain, which is all of the knowledge and skills that you're bringing to bear. And you really need to optimize all three of those for success.
Right. And let's talk about the motivational brain.
You have a set of mechanisms that engage goals that you have, and most of those systems actually drive you back to doing what's comfortable for you, driving to do the habits that you've created, which is why you can start a job and then look up 10 years later and realize that even though there were other things you wanted for yourself, you just got up each day and continued to do the same thing, which means it's really important to, on about a yearly basis, to take a step back and ask yourself, how am I doing? Am I happy with where I'm going? Does the work that I'm doing fit my values? Something that can be really useful is we know that older people in their 70s, 80s, and 90s, when you ask them what do they regret, it's almost always the things they didn't do in their life rather than the things that they did.
Right.
And we all have a remarkable cognitive capacity for time travel. You can pretend that you're 70, 80, or 90 and ask yourself, what will I regret not having done? And then fix it before it's too late.
Yeah, that's a good question. What will I regret having not done? Autumn just graduated from the University of Delaware last year and says she has already gone through 2 full-time jobs that she did not like and just cannot find something that relates to her passions. Take a look.
I graduated from the University of Delaware last year with a bachelor's degree in sociology. While in college, I had several jobs and internships. I've worked as a campus tour guide, in fast food, at a campus convenience store, as an office assistant, and as a camp counselor. I faced many challenges looking for the right job. My first job out of college was at a medical communications company. The company set up presentations for pharmaceutical sales reps. The job was mindless and boring, and I quit after 6 months. Then I got a job as an event coordinator. I felt as though I was underappreciated and overworked. The manager and I had a disagreement. Last week, we had a mutual split. Right now, I can't be committed to a full-time position because I don't know what I want to do. I think I need to get some crazies out first. I'm looking for something that relates to my passions of interior design or real estate, event production, music, or art. My dream job is to be an entrepreneur, to own a full-service real estate company where I design and build properties. Dr. Phil, how can I gain clarity when it comes to figuring out what I should do for my career?
Well, you have a vision, right?
Yes. I do have a vision, but I also can see my life taking a lot of different paths. That's the vision that I have today. That's the vision that I feel very comfortable with, that I feel like I've nursed a lot. But I don't know if I'm really committed to it, or if I'm just saying I need to have something to do.
Yeah, but Dr. Markman, it's not so much a specific job as it is finding a vocation that allows you to do the things that she's saying are important to her, right?
Yeah, that's right. You know, you can learn to love any specific task you're doing as long as it feels like it's part of something bigger.
Right.
We talk about this idea of work as a calling. You know, do you see yourself helping other people, engaging with the world around you? And it almost doesn't matter the specific things you're doing as long as you can feel a sense of purpose in it.
You took some tests before that you think are very important. Let's take a look at these, and Dr. Markman, tell us what you honed in on here and what we learned.
So we gave you 2 different kinds of tests to do. One was a basic test of personality characteristics, and then the other was a test of your values. And in personality characteristics, the way that we could score these, we could give you a score from, say, 0 to 100 and see sort of how high or low you come out on what are called the big 5 characteristics, which are the basic characteristics that personality psychologists care about. And I want to point out a couple of them here that I think are important. So a really nice one is you're very high in a characteristic called openness, which means you do find a lot lot of new things interesting, which is great, but it can also mean that you see lots of shiny things out there. So you start to commit to one thing, and then there's something else you think, but that might be cool too.
So accurate,
and,
so accurate.
And so you want to use that not just for your work, but also to say, you know, let me find some things I'm going to do for my work and some things I'm just going to do as my hobby. So I'm a college professor, but I play in a band, you know, on the side, right? And so you can do that. You can feed that part of yourself, not always just part of your work. Now, I want to point out another one that's going to be really important here, which is in the middle there, you see conscientiousness. And you come out kind of in the middle of the scale, and it turns out a lot of times people tend to over-represent their conscientiousness, how much they actually get stuff done and show up to do things. And so when you're in the middle, you're often sort of lower on the middle. This one's really important early in the career, because if you want to catch the attention of a supervisor or a boss, you got to be there every single day, ready to work with the T's crossed and the I's dotted. And when you're in the middle on conscientiousness, and I will admit I'm sort of there too, you got to be extra careful to make sure you're there, present, and ready all the time.
So she's open-minded, but she might need to be a little more disciplined.
Exactly right.
Okay, well, let's take a look at her values.
The top and the bottom are both important. I want to touch really quickly on the bottom there. Your lowest values are things like achievement and power and security. And so this is what allows you to say, you know what, I'm not sure I want to settle down yet, that I'm willing to try a bunch of things, and I don't care if I'm successful according to other people's guidelines. But I noticed in some of the materials that we got early that you feel a little guilty about this because people are putting pressure on you. And you can see that because one of your top values is what's called conformity, which is I want to show respect to the people who came before me. I'm going to respect my traditions. I want to do the right thing. And there's a tension between that and some of your other core values. In particular, one of them you see up there is hedonism, which is you want to enjoy life. And you know, to get those crazies out at the same time that you're trying to hold down a job can be hard. But it isn't impossible. And I want to direct you to some of these other things, which is you care a lot about benevolence, being good to other people, universalism, treating people equally, and you also have a strong desire for creativity. So as you begin to look at jobs, you want to find ones where 5 to 10 years out, you're really going to have a chance to express those, even if in the short term you're going to have to do some things that aren't as exciting.
His book, Bring Your Brain to Work, is available, and everyone in the audience will be getting a copy. Coming up, did choreographer Richie Jackson have a hard time teaching Sarah Joy, or is she what he's been looking for? He'll tell us next, and she's going to perform right here. Well, Richie Jackson has created dance moves for Lady Gaga's iconic music videos, her world tours, the 2017 Super Bowl halftime show, her Vegas residency, and the most talked about movie this year, A Star is Born. So, welcome, my friend.
Thank you.
So will a star be born today with Sarah Joy? So you've been backstage working with Sarah Joy?
Yes.
Before I ask you about her specifically, dancing, choreographed dancing, this takes a lot of work, doesn't it?
Yes.
If you just show up at somewhere to apply, whether it's on Broadway or to a show like you when you're recruiting for dancers or whatever, and you've never danced anywhere, you've never had any training, you've not been in a show, what's the chance of you getting hired into a big-time show like Lady Gaga or something like that?
No.
You wouldn't even get in the room to talk to you or somebody like you.
No, because at my auditions, there's at least 1,000 people auditioning.
Right.
So you'd have to be 1 in 1,000 to impress me with no training and just a dream and rolling off the side of your bed to make me be like, no, there's no way.
Yeah. How did Sarah Joy do?
So initially, when I first started to teach her the steps, I taught her as fast as it would be at an audition, and she couldn't get it as first. She couldn't get it as fast. She didn't pick up the style or the vibe. And I was like, you'd have been cut already. She wanted to show me what she would do, and I'm like, yeah, but as a dancer, you need to go in there, learn the choreography, and then deliver it back immediately. And if you can't, you'll be cut.
So she would have been cut?
Yes. 100%.
She was complaining early on.
Yes. Complaining, we were on carpet, you know, she can't turn her heels. If I had more time, I could pick it up. And I'm like, you won't have time. We don't care if you're on carpet. We don't care about your heels. There's 100+ people who want this job, and we're only looking for 2 people.
She did work hard.
She did work hard, but it was a lot of getting her out of her own way. Because I would have never really encountered her fighting back. I'd have been like, thank you for coming.
Yeah. Well, all right, we're going to see what she's got after the break. We'll be right back.
Cat, up, down, push, and a hop, and hit, and cat, get, bye.
No, I want to do my own thing.
Now, this is the problem. If you do your own thing, you won't have the knowledge to grow up.
I'm not trying to hit your steps. I'm trying to hit my
5
steps.
and 6 and 5, 6, 7, 8. Give it get. No, and no. The confidence is great, but it's a little borderline egotistical, and that does not ride.
Okay, so do your audition, whatever you do.
So let me see this. Here we go. It goes 5, 6, 7, 8. Give me 1, and 2, and 3. Ready? Here we go. Let's try it. And 5 from the top. 6, and 5, 6, 7, 8. Give me 1, and 2, and 3, 4. Hit, up, down, snatch, hot, get, again. 5, 6, 7, 8. Give me 1, get, hit, cooch, cat, up, down, snatch, switch, around, hit, high. Now give me a freestyle this time. And 5, and 6, and 5, 6, 7. Let's work. Give me hot, get, and hit, hot, pop and around, get, 5, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5, 6. Give me a pose and freeze. Okay.
All right. So.
She has an area code, but does she have it precisely enough? No. Someone else would have came in there and nailed the exact style. And what I mean by that is like where the hands go. Why are we doing this? The head, the hands have to feel like out of nowhere, Fosse jazz, pop. But then it's like shade, kick, around, hit, All
right. And when you were working with her, you said she fought back instead of took the coaching.
Yes, and that's not good, because no one has time for that. I need to see steps, vibe, and energy, not my feet hurt, this doesn't work, my hair, my this, my that.
What was your experience?
I had a wonderful time working with Richie. I don't think I fought back at all. I think that I expressed how I would add my own style to it. I expressed how I would add my own flavor to it.
Yes,
but as you can see, I delivered exactly what he gave me, and I did it with full energy, and I think that he would love to work with me again.
No. I would have to see her against a room full of professional, qualified dancers, and then I would know.
Yeah. I want to thank all of my guests today, and a special thanks to Richie Jackson.
Thank you.
For more information about today's show, log on to drphil.com. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And if you are a lover of celebrities, comedians, sports, medicine, self-help, my new podcast has it all. I really want to hear what you think, and I'll be dropping one every Tuesday. So if you want to hear a different side of me, subscribe to Fill in the Blanks. That's P-H-I-L in the blanks. Every Tuesday, hit the subscribe button. We'll see you next time. Richie?